Alrighty, let's go. Welcome back into the trade room for NRL Round 19 Supercoach preview. One that proves to be an interesting week coming up. A lot of backups happening, potentially non-backups. 3 teams on the bye: Panthers, Dragons, and the Broncos. The final mini bye round of the year. Any sort of bye rounds happening of the year. Thank the Lord for that, right? After round 19, we're full steam ahead. 8 weeks left heading into finals. Supercoach head-to-head finals, I think, start in round 24. I could be wrong, though. But yes, one that proves to be a very, very interesting week for trades, because I believe this week is all about getting in the gun to RFs, whether it's Ola Kawatu, Hudson Young, Dylan Lucas. You'll see them on the top 10 trade, and I think it is definitely time to get the premium 2RFs in. It's just about how we get them in that sort of way. Maybe it's time to nuff. Maybe it's time to get in the super duper cheapie. Very interesting week, definitely coming up for sure. But guys, before we get stuck into it, make sure you do give us a massive like and subscribe to the channel. It does do me a whole world of favors. If you are listening on the podcast, do make sure to go check out all my socials. Should be in the description. So let's get stuck into the top 10 traded in players for the week. Starting off with the top player that is traded in this week is Dane Jennings, 13.7% traded in. He is basement price, 201k. Has not had a price change yet. I believe it will happen after this week. Look, he looks unreal. So the first price change will happen after this week. Break even of minus 17 as well. So not that cash really matters at this point of the year, especially with a cheapie. You're not really going to probably trade him out. If you're looking at trading Dane Jennings, you're probably going to have him for the rest of the season, right? Let's just keep it that way, yeah? I highly recommend it. I think if you're looking at this point for a nuff or a cheapie so you can get in like a Hudson on Dylan Lucas kind of thing, I think Dane Jennings is a good go. I think Dane Jennings could be a little sneaky play potentially this week as well if you're interested, depending how brave you are. Because I reckon he's looking good. He got 78 last week with a try, and that was against the Panthers. And he had a try also ruled out as well because of Cody Walker. So it could have been a ton last week. It could have been a ton. So look, big balls. If you've got it, go for it. But that left wing for Souths proves absolute dividends. It just goes absolute gangbusters. I believe unless AJ is back potentially this week and maybe he's on the right, I'm not sure. But still, I think he'll do really, really well. I think at this point where you need enough anyway to get in your gun to RFs, may as well just get in a guy like Dane Jennings, who is playing this week, could potentially be playing next week as well. We're not sure. Maybe you can play him based on matchups. Like, maybe. Next on the list is another South player. 2 South players at the top of the list. Keon Kolomatangi. He is 7.3% traded in. He made 39.3k last week. 610k break-in of 32. I would have said, back to his brilliant best, he's looked unreal the last sort of few weeks. He got 89 last week, all in BP, played 80 minutes and 85 the week before. Looked unreal. However, apparently he's re-aggravated this knee injury in training yesterday. Apparently. Which is absolutely brutal. That is not the news. I, Keon owner, I got him in last week. That is not the news I wanted to hear. So we won't even find out until Saturday if he's good to go, which is like so freaking frustrating. It is so frustrating, but it is what it is. I don't know if you can get a Keon now based on like this knee. Yeah, like happened again. Like I just don't know if you can trust it. And if it didn't happen, I'd be all for it. Absolutely all for it because he's looked unreal. Like 610k. People are potentially thinking about fading Haas on the way home, and this could be a guy to get in instead of paying Haas. He's done me absolute wonders last week. Really good score. If this knee injury didn't get re-aggravated, I'd be absolutely telling you guys to get all over it. 100% recommend it. But like considering we won't find until Saturday at 2:00 whether he's good to go or not, it just keeps me way off. Absolutely way off the ball. So yeah, you gotta avoid, unfortunately. You gotta avoid if it's like if you still have a trade in the bank, if you got someone on the buy that you're looking to trade out by Saturday, go for it. Absolutely go for it. But I reckon even if he does play, I reckon he's gonna be looking at limited minutes, unfortunately. and just the movement won't be as good. It's so shit. It's just so shit and just my type of luck. But it is what it is. Third on the list, Hamole Olakawatu, one of the big premium 2RFs. They are coming in the streamline in this episode. So 815k, he is 5.6% trade in coming off the Origin last week. 88 break even. Now, he's going to definitely back up. Didn't even get on the field for Origin 3. He's had a week off as well. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be hungry. He's going to be running at, I believe, in Nanai. I could be wrong, though. Should be Nanai. Mate, he could run an absolute train wreck. I'm an Ola owner. In my opinion, you've got to at least get one of these 2RFs in, whether it's Ola Kwatu, Hudson Young, or Dylan Lucas. I think you have to at least get one of them in. You could have all three. I'd be shocked if you had all three. I think, I've spoken about this last 2 weeks, the end game with 2RFs is Ola Kwatu, Hudson Young, and Dylan Lucas. You want all three of those guys. Those guys are going absolute huge at the moment. I think at least have to get one of them this week. Most people will probably have one already. Like Ola Kawatu's like 28% owned. Hudson Young and Dylan Lucas around 15%. I think it's time to get in at least one of them. Definitely for sure. I will be looking to get at least one of them in this week for sure. I'm already an Ola owner, but I definitely want to have all three by the end of the season for sure. So I cannot knock the Ola trade in this week. Next on the list is the other 2RF, Hudson Young, 767k. He was on the bye last week in Origin as well, 2.4% traded in, break even 92. Now, the thing with Hudson Young, he's just coming off an 80-minute New South Wales performance. Did play every minute in the series as well. I'm not sure. I assume he's expected to back up on Saturday. Nothing being confirmed yet. He is fit as a fiddle. He's healthy. As I said, he did play 80 minutes. I did have a win though, so there's obviously celebrations, that kind of thing there as well. Back at the Rays on Thursday, yesterday, in captain's run, recovery. We'll have to see. We won't find out until later this afternoon if he's definitely going to be playing. I would assume he does. I would probably rather a Dylan Lucas or Ola Kawatu this week. Just my opinion. I know Hudson Young's a tiny bit cheaper. I would just rather look at Lucas or Ola Kawatu potentially this week for that reason there. There's no qualms against Hudson Young though. Absolutely no qualms against Hudson Young whatsoever. He's elite. I said I'll definitely be wanting to finish the season with him. It's just more how he pulled up after the game 3 a few days ago. Next one is Nico Hines, one of my favorites, 806k. He is 3.4% traded in. Sorry, 3.6, breaking 125. Lost a little bit of Bicky last week, but that's all good. He's a season keeper. He still scored 86 or something, so still got a high break even. Just super solid. I spoke about this the last 2 weeks. Your end game when it comes to halfbacks, in my opinion, it just has to be Cleary and Hines. I don't think there's a better halfback 2 option than Nico Hines. I think if you were to look at the averages in halfback, Nico Hines is halfback 2, and he's way above 3, which I think is probably a Jaden Campbell or something like that. I think Lockie Galvin's averaging 67 on the year or something. Nico's averaging, I think, around 80 on the year. It's the clear halfback 2 option. Interesting week, though. It's a matter of definitely getting 2RFs, but I said if you're a guy that needs to get Nico in, maybe you go for it. I can't back the Nico traded. I think he's definitely a season keeper. Whether you want to fade the 2RFs getting in this week and go Nico, absolutely no issue about it. Wow, I just sneezed before and my whole body is hurting. Holy dooly. Yeah, I absolutely love Nico. Absolutely no issue with getting Nico in this week. I think it's a very, very good trade in. Dolphins are going to be not backing up, right? They're not going to play any of their Origin players, I assume, even though they're still in Brisbane there. Sharks, I don't know if they travelled back to Sydney or not from their game against the Broncos in Brisbane. Even if they did, it's an hour and a half flight. It's a real biggie. Interesting one with the Dolphins, though. They're a good team. I don't know. I have to see. So Sharkies did play the Dolphins early in the year in Nico Hines, and they got pummeled. He still got an 81 against them. I do remember him having assists. Yeah, he did have an assist in that game there. Still got 81 against them. Nico, by the way, is averaging 91.8, not even 80. He's averaging 91.8 on the year. I thought it was honestly lower. That's my bad. Just even proves to me, even you guys more, that he is the premium halfback 2 option. Definitely for the run. Alex Twal, due front row forward, 2RS, 754k, 3.5% trade in, 25k Lost last week, breaking even at 97. Surprised me last week, definitely for sure. He played 74 minutes. First game on return for a 72. Pretty typical Alex 12 style, averaging 83.9 on the year. I think he's only going to get healthier. I just think if you're looking for the upside and looking for try scorers, you've got to look at getting an Olakau'atu, Hudson Young. Like, I think I'm going to score very similar. I get Alex 12's averaged at 80, 83 on the year, but I think in this time of the year, you got to be chasing upside. Good thing you just want to chase a little bit of upside. I get Alex 12 is looking good, but I would rather chase the upside. I'd rather chase the tries. I know of like a 2RF that can go 100, 110, 120. I know Alex 12's had a similar score to like that once this year, but it's a very, very rare occurrence. He just plots out the 80s to 90s every single week, which is not bad. It's really not that bad. I would just rather chase the upside. He looked good on return. He looked solid on return, way better than what I thought he would. He should play big minutes again tonight against the Warriors. So, look, I can't knock it. Right? I would just rather go one of the 3 premium 2RF options, like gun, like edges, that I know can score, definitely. Just to chase that bit of upside, to chase that 100-plus score, if they do score. Next on the list is Fine Fuiaki. Interesting one here. 525k, 2.2k loss last week. He is 2.8% trade in, break even at 42. Interesting one with Fine Fuiaki because he's dropped a lot of cash since the start of the year, right? He started the year pretty cheap, 450k. He got to 676k. He was on fire, and that was his first little price rise in about 8 weeks, 7 or so weeks. And it was he hasn't had a price rise, in about 8-9 weeks. Literally so long, right? Very, very long time. Is he back? Like, he had 82, I think, in BP last week. Is he potentially back? He was like, because the scores before this 82, he went on a run of 46, 59, 61, 58, 40, 53. It was just so mid. He was just churning out these such average scores compared to the start of the year where we went 82, 102, 73, 99, 53, 83, 65, 108. Is having absolutely massive scores. He was scoring tries. He was busting a lot of tackles. I don't know if he's carrying some form of injury. I think his tackle breaks has really dropped off like the last sort of few weeks, and especially his runs like the last 2 months. So, look, still averaging 71 on the year. Is he back though? Is he back? Good mid option, I guess. Are you going to play him every single week? That's the big thing. I've been a Fine Fuiaki owner since about round 4. Is he a guy that you're going to play? That's the thing. If you're going to play him, you think, based on matchups, absolutely go for it. Otherwise, literally, what is the point? What is the point? If you're going like a Lasati, Fine Fuiaki, I'd rather you just put Lasati to a gun like a Hudson Young, Dylan Lucas, or an Olakau'atu, in my opinion. Next on the list, this guy is still getting traded in. Tom Trbojevic, 567k, 10.5k. Made last week, 2.3% trade in, break even of 60. Still won't do it, guys. I still won't do it. Look, he based really well last week. He got 68. I think he was on 49 at halftime, all in BP. But again, the same shit is just not happening. Like, they struggled for points last week. I know they got their troops back this week. In my opinion, they probably smacked the Cowboys. We still haven't seen it on return. 70, 63, 68, averaging about 66 on since coming back. Only 66. Like, what? Like, what have you seen from Turbo that is like, yeah, he's going to go absolutely massive? He's had 1 ton this year in fucking like 10 games. 1 ton. Imagine saying, yeah, here's a fullback. He's had 1 ton this year so far in 10 games. Trade him in. Is it a price thing? I'm so confused by it. We just have not seen Turbo fire yet. We just have not seen Turbo fire. I don't think he's looking 100% healthy either. Still think he's looking hesitant. Why are we still doing this? Please. And then people are captaining him. I need to see it first. If he goes 130 or something this week, fine. Absolutely fine. I'll consider it. But for the moment, from what I've seen, absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance of going anywhere near Turbo, unfortunately. I think he's closer to an injury than a big score. Ninth on the list is Dylan Lucas, the third premium 2RF on this list here. 807k, Made 19k last week, 2.2% trade in, break even of 83. Mate, he scored 4 games in a row. Sorry, 5 tries in 4 games. He's looking so hot. He's looking so hot. He's looking unreal. I really, really want Dylan Lucas. Last 4 weeks, 120, 101, 96, and 93. He's had one score. He had a 43 this year against the Tigers. Apart from that, he's had a 59. Every other score has been above 60, averaging 80 on the year. 80. Now, I know we talked about Alex 12 averaging 81. But, mate, I want to chase his upside. I want to know a guy that is at least going to get 60, 65, but can score a try, if not score 2 tries. This Knights team is doing really well at the moment as well. Dylan Lucas is such a big key of that, and he scored 5 tries in 4 games. I am absolutely all over Dylan Lucas. I think I'm going to try and get in Dylan Lucas over Hudson Young this week. Maybe look at Hudson next week. I've already got Ola Kawatu. I am definitely all over Dylan Lucas, the Dylan Lucas trade. If I can get him in and make it work, I may have to rip at my final boost this week for it, but I will try my best to get him in. And then last on the list, we got Joey Walsh. Interesting one. 358k, 64k made last week, 1.7%. Traded in, break even of 19. I still don't like it. Like, I know he scored 76 last week. That was with a try. Made a bunch of tackles. He goes on a few runs here and there. He's gonna get you like at least 40, but it's just how often are you gonna play him? And the thing is, he's only halfback only, so it just means if you put him in halfback 2, it just means you have to play your flex. Like if you got Cleary and Hines, you have to play it every single week because you have Hines and flex, for example, which most people will do. It just doesn't give you any versatility at flex to do it because, like, if you're looking to trade, you have to, like, you can't trade at flex. You literally cannot trade at flex because you got Joey Walsh there. And I go back to my first point. How often are you going to play Joey Walsh? Like, do you actually have the confidence to play Joey Walsh? In my opinion, I don't think many people do. He's, like, I just don't see the point. He's 6% owned. Like, he's 350k. He's not even, like, enough cheapy. I don't really get it. I just don't get it. Like, I'm very surprised that he's like the 10th most traded in. I'd rather look at like a Tallis Duncan, like completely different, but he's like the 4th premium option. I don't get it whatsoever. 100% it's Cleary and Hines all the way for me. And if you've got Cleary and Hines already and you're looking at Joey Walsh to put him halfback 2 and then one of them at flex, I just wouldn't recommend it because it just gives you no flexibility in your flex role, which is what flex is for. The flexibility of having any player in that role. But it just means if you want to have a different player in flex, you have to try out Cleary, Hines, or Joey Walsh to get a different player in flex. So, yeah, just not for me. All right, let's have a look at the top 10 traded out players for this week. This is usually a pretty easy list to go through. Most of them are generally pretty warranted, I believe, in a way. But the top player trade out again is Atavale Lasati. I think it's like the 2nd or 3rd week in a row now. He is 7% trade out, 524k, breaking in 59. It's an easy trade out. We spoke about this last week. He's still out for like another 6 or 7 weeks. Here's easy trade out. People are going to Fini Furiaki for like absolutely no like cash whatsoever. I would only ever look at going up like to a Dylan Lucas, Hudson Young, Ola Kawatu. Only ever look at going up 100% in this situation. And that goes the same for this next guy on the list as well. Xavier Wilson, who is a dual to our front row forward. He's 6.2% traded out. 33k lost last week. Breaking of 115 now. Yeah, it's the same as Lasard. He's not injured or anything. They do have the bye this week. It's just his role when they come back next week. Excuse me, when they come back next week. What's his role? Does he start in the front row of Haas? Does he start on an edge? Like, how can you be confident of what his role is next week? You just have like no idea. So the upside definitely isn't there with Xavier Wilson compared to these other guys when he's on the edge as well. He does so well when he's in the middle. I would rather, if I was a Xavier Wilson owner, I'd rather trade Wilson out and then go to a gun tour who I know is solidified in that spot every single week, literally every single week, and playing in a solid team as well. The Broncos are struggling. Third on the list, we've got a pair of South players here in 3rd and 4th. Let's try and do them together. Latrell Seagwalt, 539k, 77k made last week, 5.6% trade out, breaking a 38. And then you've got Cody Walker, 560k, 19k made last week, 4.6% trade out, break even at 65. Now, probably shouldn't have done them together now that I look at it, but probably time to trade Cody Walker out. I think you've made enough cash. You've made 160k in them. Probably time to look at going to like a Munster, a Jaden Campbell, or Fletcher Sharp for the way home, I think. Cody Walker suspended for, I think it's 1 or 2 weeks as well for his stupidity. It's just, again, a guy that you're not really going to play like ever. People are kind of just being relying on these tries and like these tries that he's getting. His base is just terrible. I would definitely rather look at like a Fletcher Sharp, a Cameron Munster, or a Jaden Campbell, definitely for sure. I was a Cody Walker owner at the start of the year. I wasn't too enthused. Owners ended up making 160k in him. Very well done. I think it's time to move on for Cody. And in regards to Latrell Seagwalt, look, he's made you 338k if you got him as a cheapie. Being dropped to the bench this week could be an AE nightmare potentially. He's probably going to max out the cash now, that sort of thing. I don't see him making his way back into the starting team now, unless there's another injury. Latrell is probably back in a couple weeks, I'd say, as well. That's where, like, depending on how you, like, where you've got him, like, maybe you've got him a flex or fullback or halfback. I know people are probably going him to Turbo this week, which is, like, brutal. I would never go Latrell to Joey Walsh. I would never do that, ever. I would only go Seagwalt to Nico Hines if you've got Seagwalt in your halfback role. But if you've got him in flex, you can go to anyone. Like, I would literally get into Premium 2RF. I would only ever look at trading up from Seagwalt if you can. If you can make it work. Centre 2, fifth on the list, 511k. This guy's been on the list for like 3 weeks in a row now. 5k made last week, 4.1% traded out, 78 break even. Again, a guy that you're just not really playing on based on like matchups ever. He's made you 300k this year. He's kind of scoring like pretty average at the moment as well. I know the Dragons are showing some ticker at the moment, but they're still bottom of the table. Like since round 10, he had a score of 83, and then he hasn't had a score above 61. So it's just pretty crap scoring, to be honest. Like, look, he's made the good cash, 100%, but definitely time to chase the upside in regards to CTWs for the rest of the year. Jackie Bostock, interesting, 578k, played Origin during the week, 2.3% traded out. 3.8% traded out, breaking on a 61. So, Bostock. I traded out Bostock last week. Why did I do that? Because he got picked for Origin. That meant he is round 18. He won't play this week, in my opinion, round 19. And I've got to buy in round 21, I believe. So it's 3 out of the next 4 weeks he won't be playing. Right now, he misses the next 2 out of 3 weeks. So up to you whether you want a guy that's playing every single week, but he will not play the next 2 out of 3 weeks. He also got the HIA as well. I don't know if that's different for him, whether like he's out this week and then next week. I'm not sure. I think they can probably apply for an exemption. I'm not sure if he passed or not. But potential of him missing 19, 20, and 21 then if that HIA stands and he can't play next week against the Cowboys, missing the next 3 weeks, which if he's missing the next 3 weeks, then yeah, I would be trading him out because he's a great player, absolute great player. Is he a guy that you necessarily think of when you think of end game teams? Not necessarily. I think that's when you can look at getting in like the guns that you want for the run home, especially if you're not playing the next 3 weeks, right? So I probably got away with it even a bit more last week trading out Bostock, especially because I went to Jenkins, I think, from him. Like maybe you can hold on for another week and get Jenkins next week if you're not a Jenkins owner. Up to you. CTW can kind of pot up, I reckon, at this time of year and find some really interesting options. Next on the list, Jackson Ford, still on this list, 654k. 3.1% trade out, breaking 123. Same deal. Jackson Ford doesn't play until finals, so same deal as like a Lasati kind of thing. Doesn't play until finals. People will be going forward to Haas next week. I'll most likely be going Tarping to Haas next week, depending. I traded out Ford to Keon, I think, a couple of weeks ago. Got to try out Jackson Ford. Can't be having 650k sitting on your bench for the rest of the season. He won't be back until finals. He literally will not be back until finals. Ryan Catron. Very, very, very interesting one. 642k on the buy this week. 2.9% traded out. 3.9k lost. last week, 94 break even. Now, Ryan Couchman's been an absolute weapon this year, averaging 70.8 on the year. But his last 2 weeks, he has gone 59 minutes and 56 minutes. Minutes have definitely dropped off compared to weeks prior. And his BP is a little bit down on previous weeks as well. He has had 58-minute games and he still scored 70 plus. And he hasn't the last 2 weeks. Mind you, against the Raiders, he still played 59 minutes for a 66. And it's just a 57 that's probably putting off people last week. I probably want to see it for one more week. I don't know if I can trade out Ryan Catchman just yet. I can maybe make an excuse for it. If there's a way this week I can get in Lucas and Hudson Young, then I'll look at it that way. But for the moment, I'm probably holding Ryan Catchman. I just want to see how he comes back. The only thing with Ryan Catchman is the upside just isn't massively there. I don't think he's even scored a try this year or had like some form of an assist. So it's just like, yeah, he has had no attacking stats this year whatsoever. I just had a look. No attacking stats. That's probably where I kind of understand the trade out and getting in a 2RF that's going to have attacking stats and have that big scores coming into the end of the season. I can understand it now. If there's a way this week where I can boost to go and get in like a Hudson Young and Lucas this week and then like a cheapie, I will definitely be considering looking at it for sure. Ninth on the list, Tony Suka, 416k, 43k made last week, 2.9% traded out, 26 break even, excuse me. 80 nightmare kind of areas, I guess, on the bench now. Probably will be on the bench for the rest of the season, I'd say. 80 nightmare, definitely for sure. It's just a really awkward one. You could probably nuff him out now. He's made you 200, like nearly 200k. You can probably nuff Tony Suka. What I mean by nuff is just getting like a base cheapman player like an Ethan Roberts, a James Walsh. Anyone who's not going to play that you know won't be playing for the rest of the season and is literally basement price. Most likely a dual position. I think it's time to nuff. I think it's truly time to nuff out. Make your 200k profit and then you can get in your gun 2RS or anything from there. It's just like, what's the point of holding him? What's the point of holding him? Like, it's a hard one with Tony Suka. Like, I didn't really get the trade in a few weeks ago for this reason because I thought Samuela would be back soon. You got Alex Seyfarth there as well. Alex 12 is going to be back from injury. I kind of just didn't get it. But yeah, I think you can nuff out Tony Suka and then go up to definitely a gun 2RF. And then last on the list, good old Moses Leo. Hey, 502k on the buy last week, 2.1% trade out, breaking 87. I think he's still suffering from a head knock. Look, apparently he's back next week. Whether you want to hold for a pot option, whether he should actually be picked on that left wing, I'd say. Up to you whether you want to hold. Like, it's probably very comparable to Setu 2. What I will say is the Storm should come home really, really strong. He's only a guy you'd ever play in matchups. If you're not looking to waste a trade, you can hold Moses Leo and play him based on matchups. You are running a huge risk. If he was playing this week, that's where you could probably look at trading him in. But if I was a Moses Leo owner, I'd probably just hold. I think I would probably just hold. But fortunately, I'm not because fuck Moses Leo. Honestly, I never ever had him this season at all, even when he was a cheapie. All right, there's your top 10 trade in and trade out players. Now, let's have a look at my team for the week. So, I got 987 last week. I finally saw some green arrows. Thank goodness for that. So, if we optimize this one here, without any trades, I've got 11 trades left as well. I do have one boost as well. I've got Harry Grant. I've got Terrell May, Tarpany, Kalamatangi. Hopefully he's healthy. Ola Kawatu, Fafita. I've got to look at moving Fafita on. Fene Fuyaki. I forgot about Fafita. Fucking Fafita. Ryan Catchman on the buy. Siwa Wong. Nico Hines. Cleary on the buy. Fletcher Sharp. CT Dubs. Herbie Karaz, if he's playing. Hopefully. Nwangani Tawase, if he's backing up. Should be. Lehigh Hopawate, Greg Marzu, who was pissing me off, and then Khan Pereira. Fullback, Suafalango, Kaya Wicks, who I've got to look at moving on, and then KL Iro and Flex, who is now 577k. I cannot believe I got in Marzu and Iro back-to-back weeks when they just made all this cash, and now they're under 600k. Fuck me. Actually, fuck me. All right, trades for the week. Okay, so my two priorities are pretty much Hudson Young and Dylan Lucas. So it's finding a way to get these two guys in. So first off the bat, I've only got fucking 6K in the bank. I'm going to have to rip this boost, obviously. So at the moment, if I want to try and get these two guys in, I'm going to have to look at going Fafita and Rauchman out. And I'm probably going to have to go Weeks. That's not going to get me anywhere fucking close. My idea is hopefully Hudson Young, I'm just going to miss out, is Hudson Young and Dylan Lucas cost about 1.5 million or 1.54 million. And then I'm able to get in. And then I can just nuff out. But I think I'm just going to be just short. Fuck. 169k after getting those two guys in. The only thing with Mars, you just feel like he's going to pop off. So frustrating. What I want to do is potentially not play Kaya Weeks this week and look at going Kaya Weeks to Teddy in a couple weeks. Maybe I do trade Marzu, and that's where I get in a fucking... Where is he? This could be the go, actually. And really set up the rest of my team. 34k. Trade outs Catchman, Fafita, and Marzu. Trading in Dylan Lucas, Hudson Young, and Dane Jennings. Let's have a look at that. Optimize that. Okay, I think we're talking a bit more now. Okay, I've got my 2RFs also. That's my end-game 2RF, like right there, right? I've made it happen. Ola Kawatu, Dylan Lucas, and Hudson Young there. That is the end goal there. Looking at potentially tapping to Haas next week, potentially. And then, look, I don't want to trade out Greg, but he's just not been doing it. You can pretty much bank on him scoring this week then, like 100%, which will absolutely piss me off, but it is what it is. But I just don't see him, like, he's just not performing well. He's just not performing like the way he should be. You could say I could go close to trading at Camperera, but we'll talk about Camperera in like just a couple minutes there. But I'm pretty happy with how this team is actually looking because I won't play Weeks. I'll definitely play Camperera for sure. And it leaves me with a pretty solid team for the week. So I definitely should have like easily full 18s and strong 18s for the rest of the season. When Cleary comes back, when Jenkins comes back, that sort of thing there. And then I'll have halves hopefully next week. I'll look at Weeks to Teddy. Now, pretty much, I have 8 trades left. The only other trade I'm really looking at in the future is going to be getting Haas and then Teddy in. And then that'll leave me with 6 trades, but I will need the cash. I'll probably need to use 4 trades. That'll leave me with 4 trades left. And then I honestly don't know who else I kind of want for the rest of the season. Because I've kind of got these pod options here. So I'll have Mark for the rest of the season. Karaz is an interesting one, just depending on injury. I'll hold Herbie, I'll hold Lehigh, I'll hold Jenkins. Perez, like awkward price, I'll probably hold. Jennings, I'll hold. Wiggs, I'll look to trade. Sewer, I'll definitely hold. Iro is Iro. Maybe I'll look at trading him. Tuaraf is set. Halfback is set. 5'8 is pretty much set. I can't see myself trading Sharp or need to. Front row, I'll hold Terrell. Tarpany to Haas next week. I'll hold Kolomatangi. And I'll hold Grant for the rest of the season. So I'm pretty much kind of set. It's just maybe Wong and Fini Fuyaki. I probably feel like I'll finish the season with those guys. So interesting. I think those last 4 trades that I'll have will just be for injuries if needed. And any sort of pod options I may look at for the season. But I should only need like 2 trades next week, 2 trades the week after, and then leaves me with 4 trades after round 21. But I think it'll be definitely minimal trades after that for sure. Absolutely for sure. But I'm pretty happy with how this team is looking. I've got 2 RFs that I want. My CT dub I'm pretty happy with. Like, you think about my CTWs, like when Jenkins is back next week, I've got Herbie, Karaz, Nwangi, Tawasi, and then Jenkins there. Absolutely stacked there, in my opinion. What I do with Iro, I'm having absolutely no clue. Very happy with it. In terms of captaincies for the week. So I'm going to captain Sewer. He is the most captain player this week, but I think it's for a reason. I think there's definitely potential. His base and power is really up the last sort of month or so. think there's potential they could have put a big score on the Titans as well. Could be high scoring. There's no one else that's really sticking out to me in terms of captaincies, right? Like, I don't want to captain, like, can't captain Terrell. It's a Friday night captaincy. There's no one else really sticking out. Like, I could captain one of these two RFs, but it's pretty risky in my opinion. I would just rather chase the upside with the goal kicking as well with Suafalongo. VC. VC. I'm going to chase the upside. VC is very awkward this week. Like Herbie, looking at Herbie against the Sharks that have, like, he's got no players. You're looking at Hines, like VC, on the road against the Dolphins, who are solid even without the Origin players. Like Dylan Lucas plays on Sunday. Hudson Young, potentially, maybe. Ola Kawatu playing on Sunday as well. Take a quick turnaround. Harry Grant will be off the bench. He plays the last game of the round. Carol May, I'm not going to VC a front row forward again. He played 65 minutes last week. Like Carraz is busted up. Marky Mark, potentially, like, very poddish. I'm going to go super pod and really chase the upside. AKP. Give me AKP on return against that Tigers right edge. I think he could absolutely have a barnstorming night tonight against them. It could be 40, 50. It could be 150. I'm chasing the full upside. It'd probably take me a big score to loop. I'm just looking at my NPRs for the week. Is Jennings, Cheese, and Week. So probably Cheese is going to be my AE, which is not too bad. It's probably going to be at least a 30. I'm probably going to be at least a 110 to loop. I'm thinking at least a 110. I do think Sua could go absolutely bananas though. So it would have to depend. AKP would have to score at least a double. At least a double. If he goes 140, I'll be looping that definitely. But I'm definitely chasing upside when it comes to VC. But I'm pretty happy with my captaincy on Sua for this week. Alrighty, let's have a look at the captaincy options, the top 10 captaincy options for the week here. You'll see the columns to the right if you are watching on the podcast, top 10. If you're watching in YouTube, sorry, top 10% to the right, which is what I mainly do because that's where all the active super coaches are. I look at the top 5 options on Rugby League Fantasy Pro and deep dive into them to see if they're good options for the week or see if you could potentially avoid them. But let's have a look. So I said the top captaincy option for the week is Suafalongo. Now, Sua is always a hard one to sort of deep dive and analyze just because he's 33.4 captaincy, by the way, in the top 10%. He's always a hard one just because he hasn't played that many like games in NRL and at fullback as well. But he's got 2 games against the Storm in his career. Both are on the wing, though, so I'm not going to take anything from his averages 59. Look, he's an absolute killer. He's been absolutely killing it this year. If we look at how fullbacks go against the Titans, I actually have a feeling they go pretty low, in my opinion. It just says to reload with the latest data. Let me just go fullback against the Titans and shit, averaging 58.1, so definitely lower. You have got a 1 in there from Fletcher Hunt, so probably over 60. There's only 2 times in here. One was from Tedesco at 127, and another one was from Clayton Fa'alolo, which was 100. But otherwise, pretty lower scores, definitely for sure. Storm have not played the Titans this year. Yeah, I've got some pretty solid. Like, you've got a 96 from Drinky, 83 from Hammer. You've got an 84 from Kaya Weeks. You've got it's pretty low, like a 74 from Edwards, 68 from Walsh, 64 from Ponga. It's pretty low when you look at it, actually. So, interesting game. I have no idea what to expect from the Titans this week. Off the bye, off a pretty bad performance against the Doggies. I have no idea what to expect, but I do feel like the Storm could go to Pound Town, back at home. All their troops playing in this one as well, back out from Origin in their must need of a big win as well. I'm happy to captain Sua. I think I'm happy to go like against the numbers here and captain Sua here. Pretty happy with that. Next on the list is, of course, Herbie Farmworth. This guy's been like the top 3 for like the last freaking 2 months. Herbie, since he's been at the Dolphins, playing the Sharks, probably not a whole lot of data here. Played 3 games against them for an average of 94.7. So he's got an 88, a 111, and an 85 against them early in the year. I actually remember this 85 so vividly. I remember, I think I owned Herbie for the first time. He's on like 60, like 68 at halftime and finished on 85. Like he was killing it at halftime, absolutely killing it. Had an assist, I think. He was on high score at halftime and did nothing at all the second half. Absolutely nothing, which is so frustrating. I think I had the VC in him as well that week. You can't knock it looking at those numbers, like 94.7. I know it's only 3-game data, but still very, very good. If we look at how left centers go against the Sharkies, so right center for the Sharkies will be Ramian, 55.2. That's very low. Although Herbie's kind of in his own echelon, right? You got a 84 from Savala, you got a 92 from Seagull, 83 from Val, 85 from Herbie. No tons at all. The highest score is a 92. Interesting. What I did see from Herbie though earlier this year when they did play against him, he did absolutely threaten him and kill him. He just did absolutely nothing the second half, which is so unlike Herbie. My only issue is they just don't have like a full team. There'll be no Hammer, no Katoa, no Colbo next to him, no Plath, no Flegler. Interesting, like no Bostock. Very interesting team for the Dolphins. I don't know what to really expect from that game, so I'm probably happy to just kind of like leave it, I guess, for the moment. Probably an easy VC. Like he's the highest captaincy. He's 26.5% VC for this week. Completely makes sense. Like 100% makes sense for the week. Very good option. VC Herbie into C Sewer. Next on the list, good old Tommy Travojevic. I just can't do it. I just don't get you guys. You guys are absolutely mental. Let's do since 2021 because that's when he had his good year. And let's do by opposition. They are playing the Cowboys. Okay, so I know he's got one massive score against the Cowboys before in 2021. Yeah. So he's got a 229 against them. He's got a 49, a 108, a -2, and a 10. So, okay, so wow, this is very injury affected and very Simbin affected, it looks like as well. Holy shit. Okay, so he's got, a -2 against him. He's got a 10 earlier when he got injured against him. He's got a 1 by an 80-minute games, essentially. 80-minute games against him. He's got a -2, a 108, a 49, and a 229. That is absolutely all over the show. That could be not be more skewed if it fucking tried. So, take whatever you want from that. Averages 78, all up from that. Fullbacks against the Cowboys this year. They're averaging 61.3, so a little bit on the lower side. Only 1 ton, which is on KP in Vegas. Other scores, you got like an 89 from Dufty. You've got 89 from Tane Torpicky. You got an 80 from Josh Papali'i. You got a 93 from Sewer. Nothing super amazing in there though. That does include that 10 in there from Turbo. So you take away that 10, probably averaging 65 on the year. Like, what are you guys expecting? Like, what have you guys? That's what if Turbo owners and captains. What have you seen the last few weeks that goes? Yeah, I want to captain Turbo this week. Like, and it's an absolute easy option. Like, what is it? Like, tell me what it is, and I'll like be open ears. But I just can't get around it. I can't get around the training. I can't even get around the captaincy. That's just like a whole nother level. You guys are brave. You guys are way braver than I am. Look, got injured against him last time. That was like not due to the Cowboys' fault. That was just his own body. But his own body gets injured like all the fucking time. So yeah, it's not for me. Would I captain him if I own? Yeah, absolutely not. I'd just rather captain Sewer. If you're not a Sewer owner, I don't know where you go from there. I'd probably rather captain Ola Kawatu, honestly, than Turbo. That is just my opinion, though. And then third on the list, speaking of, good old Ola Kawatu, he's 11% captain this week in the top 10%. I find that wild for a 2RF to be that highly captained. If we look at Homolate in the last sort of 4 years, against the Cowboys, he's got 5 games against them, averaging 72.8. He's got 1 ton in there for 101, which is round 1 last year. He got a 59 against them earlier this year in just 75 minutes. Interesting, not like massive scores, like no huge upside there, but still very solid overall. 2 RFs against the Cowboys so far this year. Right edges. $55.9. Cheers, mate. That does include a 9 from Tom Fletcher. You got an 80 from Hosking. You got a 76 from Josh Curran, 85 from Ricky, and 98 from KPP. Nothing else really like absolutely standing out there. So not too bad. So Nano's coming halfway through the year. I think Sam McIntyre's been on that edge for the previous at the start of the year. Very interesting one. Nano, not generally a strong defender, in my opinion. Ola Kawatu is Ola Kawatu, though. Like, he's an absolute tank. Absolute tank. Would I captain him, though? I'd captain him over Turbo, but I don't know if I'd captain him in general when I've got Suat there. Interesting one there. Sorry, I didn't even show you the stats. That's completely my bad. Sorry, there we go. 55.9 there if you are watching. Sorry, I didn't switch the screen. 55.9 average there for 2RFs. Right 2RFs against the Cowboys this year. And then we go back to Ola Kawatu stats in the last 3 years. I'll just show you again. That is completely my bad. He's got 5 games, scores of 63, 78, 101, 63, and 50. There. All right, so 5th on the list, I always do the top 5, is one Nicho Hynes, my boy. Nicho Hynes against the Dolphins. Let's see how he goes. So, 4 games against them. Very weird. He's got a 32, a 67, a 135, and an 81 for an average of 78.8 against them. Very low, very high. I vividly remember that 32. That was in Magic Round. That's when Valence Tafare scored a hat-trick on debut. If you know, you know. It was a hat-trick or a double, I forget. But he has got a 135 in them there. So he does have potential of going large against them. Dolphins' defense this year has been very solid, though. I will give it to them. In terms of right halves against the Dolphins this year, averaging just a 50.3. Does include, what do you got? Like an 11 there from Ashton Ward when he got injured. So it's a little bit lower, probably around the 55 range. I would round it up to. You got a 118 from Cleary in there. The only ton, you got a 70 from Dylan Brown. What other scores? 76 from Fogarty, 81 from Hynes. So Hynes 81 is the second biggest score against them. They lost that game against the Dolphins this year as well. Whether that happens again, I don't know. With Nicho, all I say with the Sharky is they really struggle with consistency. They played pretty solid last week. Would not shock me if they fully dropped off this week. Would not shock me one fucking bit. Realistically, I think they're dogs this week. I think they're a very good chance of winning it with Dolphins without their stars. Sharks should have Fanua Blake backing up. I don't think Nicho will back up. And then Brayley, I think, should back up, in my opinion, there. But would I captain Nicho? Probably not, no. 3 o'clock Saturday game, I would VC Nicho potentially. I'm chasing them big upside with AKP. Wouldn't captain. I'd VC, though. I'd definitely VC. Wouldn't captain Nicho this week, though. All right, that's your top 5 captaincy options for the week. Looking at the rounding out from 6 to 10. So you got KP at 3.5%. You got Terrell May. So KP. I think KP will back up. I think he's 50-50 apparently. I think he will back up. Sunday afternoon, good weather in Sydney. I think Souths are going to be well up for that game, though, after the bad game last week. Don't know. I don't know. That's a brave captaincy, definitely with KP. Terrell May, 2.1%. That's a Friday night C, first game of the round, so no, I would not do that. Dylan Lucas, 0.9%. Again, like him, Ola Kawatu, pretty safe, but like probably not for me. Like realistically, like not for me. Harry Grant, 0.9%, probably coming off the bench like he has the previous 2 Origin games, so no, I would never ever captain Harry Grant. And then you got Marky Mark, 0.6%. That is a huge pot option. I think they play, was it 7:30 Saturday night? Oh, yes. VC on Mark. I'll never captain Mark. Fucking no chance. That's like, that could be like 30 or it could be 130. And I'm not prepared to do that with my captain at all. But top 5 options are looking pretty good. Maybe apart from Turbo. But I think I'll have to love you and leave you guys. I think that'll do it for me this week. I just want to go back to my trades just to review again. So trades for the week, I'm looking at trading out Couchman, Fafita, and Marzu for Hudson Young, Dylan Lucas, and Dane Jennings there. That gets my 2RF all set for the year with Ola Kawatu, Lucas, and Hudson Young. Very, very happy, but I think that'll do it for me, guys. Best of luck for this week. Up the bloody wires against the Tigers. Let me know what your trades are looking like for this week. Let me know what your rank is. Let me know if you have any questions as well. Flick me a message on socials. But that'll do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And cheers.